They say elephants have great memories, but they can soon forget about being in circuses.
The 13 elephants that are now part of the Ringling Brothers shows will be sent to the Circus's Center for Elephant Conservation in Florida, joining over 40 others. Kenneth Field, chairman and CEO of Field Entertainment, said, "When we did so, we knew we would play a critical role in saving the endangered Asian elephant for future generations."
I literally remember being like 5 or 6 years old, going to the Ringling Brothers Circus. I think it was at Madison Square Garden at the time in New York City, and seeing the elephants, and I thought it was like the coolest freaking thing that these giant animals were in the same room as us. That said, this is probably a good thing, right? We've all heard these insane stories about how they treat these animals, and elephants are incredibly smart and sensitive, and probably should not be in these circuses, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, they have horrible methods of getting them to do tricks. They like poke them with hard metal objects and stuff, and that's sad. I mean, but this is only elephants. They've got other animals too. They've got like tigers and lions, and what about them?
And bears, oh my.
Oh my.
I thought you,
Lions and tigers and bears. No, I mean, it's the kind of first thought I had. I was like, what about all the other animals? But I mean, it's a good start.
Yeah. So let's start with that point then. Like, does this ultimately lead to them getting rid of all the animals, and then do you lose something about what's so fun about the circus?
I mean, yeah, you lose the element of cruelty. I am adamant. I've been against the circus. I've actually been the protester outside the circus for years now. I think it's horrible. It's atrocious what they do to these animals.
So you're talking about for all animals, not just for the elephants.
And the fact that elephants are finally being phased out is amazing, but you're 100% right. There's still, tigers, lions, I think they have even other animals, and they had like snow tigers and things like that. Those are also endangered animals. Yeah. So I'm glad the elephants are being phased out, but at the same token, these other animals are not being affected any less by this, and also I don't like that they're being phased out. Just eliminate them. It's been past the time.
Right. I mean, this reminds me of the New York City carriage horse situation where they've been trying to phase them out, and now it sounds like de Blasio is going to make it happen. But it's like, if you really want to end it, just end it. And those horses, as bad as the elephants are treated, to me, those horses in the middle of those cars, they can't see anything. And they get hit by cars and all that. Do you guys find it easier to sympathize with animals than humans sometimes? Like, I definitely get that feeling. Like, if I see a stray dog, like, in the street, I feel terrible. I want to do something. And yet, all the time in LA, you see homeless people, you see crazy people and drug addicts. And it's almost like I don't feel that much. I know that sounds sick, but it's true.
Well, I mean, animals have an innocence about them, that people maybe have done something bad to put them in a bad situation, but you don't always know that. Like, I feel bad for anything that's like victimized in any way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you feel it with animals? I don't know what it is. Yeah. You rescue dogs, and you have like 87 cats and like 14 lizards and an armadillo.
Exactly.
That's your armadillo.
Yeah. Oh God, rest in peace. Yeah. No, there's something that's always really pulled at my heartstrings with animals. Yeah, like you said, it's this innocence. They're unspoken for. And I just really identify with them. I don't know. I just want to protect them. And yeah, with humans, you don't know their story. I mean, if I see a child on the street or an elder, then obviously it has a similar reaction. But if you're an able-bodied human, I have just less natural, empathy towards you for that.
Right. So I think most of us feel that, even though the person could have mental problems that we don't know about. But right, if you see like a 30-something-year-old guy, there are people that stand in the middle of La Cienega like, trying to get to California, even though they're in California. And you don't feel much sympathy for them because you sort of feel like it's their fault, where I know it's not always their fault, of course, but animals, they can't, if you just throw a dog out
and
there.
I've never seen, like, maybe if you threw like a Sarah McLachlan sign behind, a song behind, like, a montage of like people, I would feel the same. But there's something about like those eyes and like, just really...
Wait, where do you send people to adopt dogs and stuff? Where
do I send people?
Yeah,
well, I mean, there's a couple. Do you want me to plug some agencies now? God,
come on. If you want to adopt an elephant, where do you go?
Oh my God, now I'm totally blanking because there's so many agencies.
You want me to do one?
Yes.
All right, go to where I got my dog, at least in New York, the Humane Society of New York. It's not part of the bigger Humane Society, but the Humane Society itself is pretty good. How do you guys feel about zoos in general? Because I went to the San Diego Zoo about a year ago, and I got like a really super private tour, and I was in there with the elephants, and literally like under them, and like washing their bellies and doing all this cool stuff, and feeding giraffes and everything. But I did leave, even though it was awesome. It was really awesome, and seeing these animals and all that. I did leave kind of feeling sad for them, like especially like the lions and tigers where they were just sitting there like, fuck it, another day of this shit, you know? Like, how do you generally, even though I know they're doing a ton of good stuff at the zoo and they're rehabilitating animals and, you know, endangered species and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I always feel bad to see an animal in a cage, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard because, like, you know, people use the argument, well, they're being taken care of. They're getting all this special treatment. And I hear the same thing from my family that is very much into horse racing. You know, they're like, well, the horses have this better life. They're being taken care of. And I'm like, yeah, but then they break their leg and they're euthanized right away.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the higher quality of being cared for and stuff, in my opinion, isn't as valuable as just letting them be, you know, themselves in the wild.
Right, and it's a total catch-22, of course, because, you know, the endangered lion that's being treated well loses its desire to live in some ways and is bored, yet at the same time isn't under the threat of being poached or something. So
I mean, you could say, like, if you go visit a prison, they're being taken care of and protecting, you know, they're being protected from society, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same thing in zoos. Unless it's a wildlife protection, you know, refuge or something like that, I think zoos, for the most part, are something that should also be eliminated, as well as you know, like places like SeaWorld, absolutely. I mean, you are actually seeing physical responses to captivity with, you know, their fins going down, with elephants pacing back and forth. I mean, they're literally going mad.
And then they wonder why every now and again one of these animals does something to
and then when they do, they get euthanized.
Yes.
All right, so more importantly than any of this, when will they free the clowns?
Yes. God, they're just going to open a little car and like all the clowns are going to go running away for their lives.
You want the clowns to be freed, or
free
you're
the
okay?
Clowns,
free the clowns, people. All right, should we free the clowns? Let us know in the comments right down below.